Hello guys, welcome back. It's the second episode. Like I said I would mention, just going through each one of us very quickly because these videos I can only send 10 minutes at a time, so just going to go through. You can pause it, go over anything, or if you've got any questions, get back to me, leave comments, or just message me to say that you'd want to look at this, look at that, and I can focus more on the future videos. But okay, so obviously I showed Dr. Chris in the last one, so just for time purposes, go back to that one if you want to view your own stats there, Dr. Chris. But quickly, I'll just do the value tab just to give a quick insight. I know a lot of you are obsessed with how much everyone's value. That must mean how good they are, but it honestly probably doesn't work like that. It's just what they're valued at now. We're all about potential here. We're all got the same current ability, so you can read something into the values and how the market predicts they'll go. But personally, there's a few here who I've got my eye and I've had a look through and think there's value in terms of who they should be ranked higher than what they currently are here. One interesting thing though is that James Finishing Baldwin, currently only valued at 725k, but interestingly, out of everyone, we're all on youth contracts, but he was the only member that's in the under 21 side. So as you can see, like I've reiterated several times, everyone I gave a 10. I gave either a super perk of 20 for determination or work rate, and then one other semi super perk. James I gave finishing. Interestingly, he's the only really dominant left-footed player in the whole team. When I was going through it, wasn't sure on everyone's foot, but I knew Baldwin was left-footed, and I put myself as left-footed, even though I can play right and left. James is the only one who I knew was left-footed, so I mean we're all right-footed. So he is he has an advantage there in terms of. I'd have put Monday and Novak as both-footed though, so just to see how that another little development, see how that works in the game. That gives them an advantage. But he's the only one in the under 21s, James, and I think it's just down to his finishing. I mean, he's a kid, 16. He can finish, so Brentford are going to want him nearer the first team just because he could probably do a job now. And it says he's Irish, but I did make Baldwin. He could play for England, and I've got a feeling England are going to come in for him. So I've made him first nationally Irish just because he's played for both England and Ireland, actually, in our little battle royales. So yeah, he's one. Even though, like you can see back on the screen, I'll go back. His value is mid table there, 725. He's one, I think, just because of his finishing. He's going to be a hot commodity as he develops. So anyway, okay, I'll go back to position. We'll just go for it. We'll start with John. His special perk was fitness, and yeah, his natural fitness is 15. But as you can see, it's his work rate. So the others I showed you all had determination 20. Interestingly, John, I've given him the work rate. So it combines well, work rate and fitness. That's a good start. His value was very high. He's, I think, the second highest value per at this moment in time. Great technicals, all 11. So everything's set up there for a successful foundation for a career. Novak is competition for myself and John in regards to our development in game time because I've made Novak both footed. So Novak's the first one who actually looks like it's stuck to what I put in the settings in terms of giving everyone a 10. His super perk was work rate, but I give him leadership. This is interesting just because personally I know Dan's not going to care too much about if you've given him a first touch of 15 or whatnot. So I made Dan leadership just to give. I think there's a dynamic where Dan could, out of all of us, when our careers finish, be he could do something outside of the playing game with his leadership skills and his potential ability of 199. He's 2-footed, play either side. So he'll be interesting more, I think, with that leadership, what he'll do in management. But in terms of his playing career, he has the same ability as all of us, so he could still be just as successful as anyone else. quickly go over myself. I promise I kept everyone's settings the same, even though I look amazing. I gave myself tackling, just that was my medium perk, and I've given myself determination. Determination is one of the, if you're determined at 20 as a youth, you're gonna struggle on. You're gonna show great character. Whereas work rate, you'll be physically fitter, but you might not have the mentals just to pull through. So that's why determination is probably slightly better than work. But that's my expectation anyway. I've split us, 8 of us I think I've put as work rate, 7 or 9 of us as determination, just to see how it all pans out. Connor, I'm really interested to see how Connor develops, just because his strength's 16 for a 16-year-old. I've played the game, and most senior players, some of the best players in the game, their strengths, around the 10, 12. So he is a physical specimen, and playing centre-back, you need to be strong. He's going to stand out really in his early development. The coaches are not going to be missing him on the field. He's going to be so dominant at the back there with that strength, especially at a young age. Okay, we'll go to Gal. I've given him 20, so Gal's got everything I put into the systems computed. Marking's 15, determination 20. You might think, oh, why has he got loads of 10s and someone else got 11s? It's just the nature of the algorithm of the game. We could simulate this 100 times. Gal might have 11s and Connor would have 10s, where you see here. It's just some people are naturally, even though their current ability is all 100, they're going to be earmarked for just better. It's just the way the game unfortunately does it. But like I say, we could simulate it 100 times, and 10 times it would have one scenario, 10 times it would have another. But that's just the nature of how the algorithm works. It doesn't mean that because he's 10 here and Connor's 11 that Connor will necessarily be the better defender, because there's other factors, the coaching, the injuries, development, loan, game time, all of this is going to have a massive impact. But I will say the Irish golden generation of defence, we've got myself, John, Connor, Gallagher. I mean, that's a back four for Ireland to last us the next 10 years there. Okay, moving swiftly on to Aidan. He's the first English one I'm going to come on to. Aidan's a bit of a beast, giving him a physical perk of 16 for stamina. He's 11. He's only got 10 for a few mentals, but with that determination 20, they're going to shoot up. Aidan looks like an England centre-back in waiting there for sure. McShane, I made him aggressive just to see how it developed. He's playing in that holding role where you probably do need a bit of aggression to fight. But I mainly just wanted to do a little experiment to see how many bookings he picks up compared to everyone else, what his disciplinary record's like, just because of that aggression. So it'll be interesting to see how he pans out. They've made him one of the most expensive players in the game. I don't know why it is, but in that holding role, he doesn't have any competition. He should develop, and it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Let me see if it's... Again, I've given us all little personal details. As you'll see as the game develops further in your career, what sort of information I've made him a West Brom supporter. No, he always goes on about how that's his team because he got selected it. Stephen, we've seen him in the previous one, so you can go back and view that if you want more time on Stephen. Sorry I'm rattling through these, it's just because I don't want to keep sending loads of videos out on just this early stage of just showing us what our technical abilities are. Nick, I was a little disappointed Nick didn't have higher on his attributes, simply because I gave him a technique of 15, so I was expecting Nick to, typical, I've made him the generic foreigner. You think, oh, foreigners, technique 15, he's going to have everything else off the chart, like first touch. So I was surprised. But again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, Gallagher doesn't necessarily mean it's just the simulation in another version of the database. He probably would have better technicals. Okay, and now Ross Vision type. Vision doesn't mean he's got great eyesight. It means, he's going to be able to play those through balls. Should make into a great deep lying playmaker if Brentford develop him correctly. And as you can see, he's one of the most interesting that we've come across because of he's got a few 8s and 9s, but then got the technicals up in the 13s, 20s. So he's interesting. And I will post the next video and we'll come back to the second half with the more attacking side of the players.